Sonic Frontier is probably one of the best Sonic games I have ever played, and you should absolutely buy it. There, that's the review. If you wanted just this humble ghost's opinion on the game, then that's it. If you want a little bit more substance, though, I recommend sticking around.
I'm here, reaching far across these new frontiers. With my life, fight this fear.
Now, I'm a fairly large Sonic fan. You're not going to see me running around with my arms behind my back calling myself Roadkill the Hedgehog while Linkin Park plays in the background, but I have played just about every Sonic game, except this one. Fuck this one. So when the massive fan game Sonic GT was shown back in 2020, I downloaded it and played it to completion, leaving my computer only to pee and to tell my friends to play it, dubbing it Sonic May Cry with Knuckles because I'm incredibly hilarious and original. I was in love with the idea of a Sonic game with stylish combat and an open world. It was something I never knew I wanted, but when I played it, I knew it was everything that a 3D Sonic game was meant to be. And then comes Sonic Frontiers. And oh my god, I was right. Now the game starts with some story, which I'll get into that in a little bit, but then it drops you off into a traditional 3D Sonic level, and it's a good 3D Sonic level, with all of your movement abilities available from the word go. The physics are pretty good. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. But there is a glaring problem with these Sonic levels, and that's the boosting feels really slow. But apparently you're not slow, as you are still moving through the level at a decent speed, but it feels slow, especially when you compare it to like something in Sonic Forces where boosting just felt like you were zooming. But in like this one, you're running. It's. But anyway, after the level ends, you're dropped off into the big open world with a key that you got from beating the level. And you need that key to go unlock the Chaos Emerald so that you can go free your friends so that you can all fight the big evil bad guy and save the world and do the Sonic thing. It's pretty good. But running around in these levels it's so good. You can go fast, you can level up your speed, you can jump and then go into a spin dash, you run on walls, grind, anything you think that Sonic should do, he does. And you'll need to use all of these things because scattered around the map are these little map revealing puzzles that show you where like hearts are or these cool little collectible things. It reminded me a lot of Breath of the Wild, especially with how many enemies there are on the map. And luckily, combat is one of the game's best things. Now, while it's not the deepest combat I've ever played, it does have depth. Every attack or movement or dodge can be comboed into something else. How the loading screen has a training simulator, which helps you learn the fluid game system. Though, weird side note about the training sim is I think it has a challenge where if you do all of its prompts within an allotted amount of time, which is usually like 30 seconds, I think you'll get something, but I've never been able to do it. Now, the enemies are plentiful, like I said, and there are some big boys on the map that you have to fight that are like borderline puzzle battles. Now, like you've got enemies who create a fading road that you have to hop on and chase before it fades out from under your feet. You've got giant creatures that you gotta run up and then homing attack their weak point. And these aren't even the bosses. These are like sub-bosses at best. And it's good, and it feels so rewarding to play. Like, just look at this battle. And it is rewarding too, because when you beat one of these baby Hueys, you get a cog that is needed to open up one of the traditional Sonic levels that are scattered around the map, which you need to beat so that you can get the keys, so that you can unlock the Chaos Emeralds, so that you can save your friends, so that you can beat the big bad guy. It all just works. It's like poetry. As for the story, I don't want to go too deep into it. It is a treat, and if you like the Archie comics, you'll enjoy it. However, due to the way that the story is presented to you, it can get really disjointed at times, and a lot of the important story beats do tend to fall flat because too much time has been spent between the last section. Now, some people also criticize the cast's characterization, and while I understand where they're coming from, it's really not too far off from how Sonic was in the comics and in some of the more mature media for Sonic. He is still a wisecrack, but he's not a goofball 100% of the time. He's actually just a badass who isn't going to let any of his friends get hurt. And Amy, one of the first characters that you meet, isn't just, oh, Sonic, I love you, which is nice. She's more about the power of love itself and how it transcends time-space than just being the token girl who's there to love Sonic. But yeah, the story is very good. I'm not going to spoil too much though. You'll need to experience it for yourself. Now, I do have some cons for the game. It's not perfect. The biggest one I have is that there isn't any momentum in the game. I do feel like that's on purpose and a design choice by the Sonic team to help them transition into this style of gameplay, but I really hope that that changes in future iterations. And the combat, like I said, it's good and it's very tight and it's very fun to play. But it is so apparent that it's Sonic's team's first try making this type of combat. I do want to reiterate they did a good job with it, but it doesn't have that preciseness that other character action games have. Also, parrying is just hold LB and RB until something hits you and then you automatically parry, and that sucks. That's shit. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, buy Sonic. It's really good. And hopefully a taste of the next generation of Sonic games. And at least it's not Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Alright, see you Monday.